Copa America is on its way, and for the first time ever, it genuinely feels like the US men's national team have enough raw talent to compete with the world's top 10 teams. Our players are playing all over the world in different systems, and we may need to use all of that tactical know-how if we want to get a chance at winning our first major trophy. Today, I want to focus on Greg Berhalter's system, even though all of you hate him and will never agree he is good at anything.
Why are you the way that you are? I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Let's look at some of the key strategies that may give us a winning chance this summer. Let's talk about attacking fullbacks, how to get the playmakers the ball at their feet, and a bold formation Greg hinted at the start of his second tenure that might just have the secret sauce to win us the tournament. Before I dive into how I think we can win Copa America, I'd love to hear your #1 key to success this summer down below in the comments. Let me know. First up is how to take advantage of our attacking fullbacks Serginho Dest and Antonee Robinson. They are each dominating their respective leagues this season. Jedi has arguably been the best left back in the Premier League this season, while Serginho Dest has figured out how to add a defensive chippiness to his attacking prowess. Our production under Greg has not been great, but it has always been strongest when the fullbacks are involved in the attack. And I've said this before, but our player qualities are best in the X of our starting 11, meaning the wide players and our midfield. The thing we always needed to figure out has been how to give ourselves stability in the back when the fullbacks are roaming forward, and how to put them in positions to succeed while they are in that attacking third. Jedi and Dest are actually two extremely different players and have very different strengths, so let's break them down separately. First up is Serginho Dest. He is a baller, a straight-up N1 mixtape player in the body of a fullback. He's producing his best moments when he's closer to goal. He's very two-footed and not afraid to have a hit with either foot. We've seen some bangers for the US before. Dest is in the 99th percentile of right backs for progressive carries and successful dribbles. He's in the 97th percentile in assists and pass completion. But where I really think he shines is in the next category, where he is currently in the 96th percentile for shot creating actions, which is when a player has two offensive actions like a pass, dribble, or foul received that lead to a shot. Even when Dest doesn't show up on the score sheet, it's still important for the opponent's defense to respect him on the pitch, which takes focus away from Timothy Weah, who's usually playing on that right side with him, and our other attacking options. This is a big change for the US because in past years, it's only been Pulisic or only been Dempsey or only been Donovan that has been our only threat on the pitch, but now we have multiple, including our marauding right back in Serginho Dest. Now Antonee Robinson, or Jedi on the left side, is a bit of a different story. His strengths come from stopping attacks and beginning transition moments. You won't find him as high up the pitch as Serginho regularly is, but Jedi will be more selective in his moments when he overlaps with Pulisic and finds space to whip in a cross with his left. For a long time, a lot of US fans know, Jedi has found those spaces, but he hasn't connected a deadly final ball. That does seem to be changing this year, and we now have weapons from the fullback position that we need to take advantage of if the US stands a chance against the big hitters like Brazil or Argentina this summer. The best thing about this is, yes, it's great when both of them go off in the same match, but each can bail the team out when the other's strength is being smothered by the opponent. In a match where we don't see much of the ball and Dest can't roam forward into the box, the counter-attacking threat of Jedi means we always have a chance to score. And when the other team bunkers, Serginho Dest is there to work his magical little dancing feet into the opponent's box. Our next tactical piece we need to get right in order to stand a chance is getting our playmakers into the right spaces. Speaking of tactical moves to get playmakers in the right spot, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Southern New Hampshire University. If you don't know my story, I spent a decade in the finance industry, and only after creating content for 3 years did I make the switch into sports marketing. I'm no stranger to switching careers. You have the chance to do what I wish I would have done in the first place, which was earn a degree in sports management. SNHU is an accredited, nonprofit, and affordable university. If you, like me, are currently in the midst of a mid-career crisis or thinking about your next steps into college, all I ask is that you consider SNHU's sports management degree as an option. I almost never carry a presenting sponsor, but I believe in SNHU's mission, and they have been kind enough to support It's Called Soccer. If you have even the slightest interest in this program, I encourage you to go to snhu.edu/itscalledsoccer, also linked in my description and pinned comment, to see if you qualify for their sports management program. Click the link to get started, and just by signing up for more information, it goes a long way in supporting the channel. Okay, now that you've gotten yourself into the right spot, let's go back to talk about how to get our US men's national team playmakers in the right spot with the ball at their feet. For Pulisic and Weah, that means finding ways to play 1-2s with their overlapping fullbacks, Dest and Jedi, who we just discussed, or finding a vertical ball over the top that they can run into space. But there's one other player we need to address for playmakers, and that is pretty obviously Gio Reyna. Now I want to use the curious way in which he played in the Nations League final against Mexico to explain this next thing. Why was Gio Reyna dropping so deep against Mexico? One thing I think that we and Greg expected them to do was press a bit higher up the pitch, and an easy way to break an opponent's press is to have a numbers advantage. What Reyna would have provided during high presses is an extra body in those moments of passing and trying to break the press. For elite level teams like Manchester City or Liverpool or even Real Madrid, this is the easiest tactical nuance to understand for us normies watching on the couch at home. Your team should always be able to maintain possession with a numbers advantage. So say for instance you have 4 players in defense, but 3 players pressing, you should never lose the ball in that situation. Now side note, this is also one of the main reasons why we've seen a rise in the modern goalkeeper that gets to play with their feet. They essentially count as an extra player that can help the team keep possession and break the press. So while Greg plans for a high press, he thinks to himself, okay, if Mexico is going to press us, I want additional options for my defenders, and I want that player to be able to transition the ball into the next phase of the pitch instead of passing it sideways, which Tyler Adams might be more prone to do. How can I do that, and who is best placed to do that? Gio Reyna. But Mexico didn't play a generic high press against us, which was very un-Mexico-like, if I might say, but it happened. So what did that mean for Gio in the game plan? Well, sometimes versus a more compact team, it's hard to get the ball to your central playmakers. I mean, we just saw last weekend that Pulisic played as a 10 for Milan, and he only had 12 touches in the game. So dropping a player to pick up the ball deeper in the pitch, like Gio, gives him additional opportunities and resources to produce big moments with the ball at his feet. Now, it's not going to work against every opponent, and every team we play in Copa America is going to be different, but it is great to have a plan in the match on who needs the ball at their feet and how to get it to them. Now, the last thing I want to hit on is actually something that Greg mentioned early on in his second tenure in a press conference a few months ago, that ideally the US would be able to set up a 4 in the back system like we do in the 4-3-3 and a 3 in the back system. Now, I think at this point, everyone is pretty much of the mindset that the national team should play simply and put their best players in positions to succeed. We don't necessarily need fancy tactics or formations to get important results. However, being able to have these tactical wrinkles that a team feels comfortable with in a national team environment is a competitive advantage. I actually think there is a way to keep how we play mostly the same and still take advantage of a surging modern tactic deployed by coaches like Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta, the possession-based 3-2-5. Now, I want us to think back against Morocco prior to the World Cup in a friendly we played against them. We used Reggie Cannon as a third center back in possession, but as a right back in defensive phases. We can do the same with Chris Richards to play right back in defensive phases and focus on how to create opportunities with possession against lower blocks that Chris Richards can be more in the middle of the field to play. Or we could have someone like Serginho Dest play a bit like Alexander Zinchenko or John Stones does to give us an extra midfielder during possession while Yunus Musa and Weston McKennie push higher up the pitch into the half spaces between the midfield and the defensive lines. This allows you to keep essentially the same personnel on the pitch, mostly the same, but start to chip away at a problem that we've had for a while, which is scoring goals against the park bus. I genuinely think if we get 2 out of these 3 things right, there is a chance, I'm just saying there's a chance for the US men's national team to take home a trophy this summer. Obviously, Argentina and Brazil are by far the better teams, but on any given Sunday, anything can happen. And on home soil, this is our best chance to do something special. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Let me know what you think the US needs to do to win Copa America 2024 down below in the comments. I'll see you next time, and thanks so much to SNHU for supporting this video. Peace!